Hi, everyone. I am so sorry that I've been gone for so long. We had a family illness and a subsequent passing of my mother-in-law, very, very near and dear to my heart. And so we had several trips to New York from Indiana, and it's all over now. She's at peace, and I can get back to you all. I've missed you. I missed filming these videos. I know you've had questions, and I've just been away from it, so I apologize. I want to show you today. I'm back to quilting my customers' quilts. I want to show you today how to set up the Baptist fan, one of my favorite patterns in the Pro Stitcher designs. I use this pattern when I have a lot of straight lines in a quilt and I just feel like it needs some movement. So the Baptist fan has some nice curves in it. I'm going to switch my camera real quick and show you some of the quilt and so you can see what I'm talking about when I say that it has a lot of lines in it. So let me share my screen with my other camera. Whoops, that's not it. This one, share. Okay, so here's the quilt. You can see the quilt here. It's all loaded and I put my plumb line on there. Let me see if I can zoom. I can't zoom in. Yep, I can zoom in. Okay. I already loaded it and put my plumb line, put my line on my quilt so everything is nice and square. I basted down my sides and now I'm ready to set up my pattern. So I've already done my area and it's 101 and I set it to 108. The quilt is like 100 by 100. It's a big one. So let me go back and we're going to share my screen with the Pro Stitcher now and we're going to set up the Baptist fan. Okay, now let's see, share and Pro Stitcher. Share. Okay, here we go. All right, so here's my Pro Stitcher screen, and I'm going to go ahead and select my area here. I'm on the simulator on my computer. Let me move me out of the way here. And let's see, let's go to area and my simulate. And I have a bar in the way. I don't think you guys can see it. There we go. It's out of the way. All right, I'm going to go to corner and I'm going to move my crosshair and I'm going to say to corner. Now, as I've said in the past, I like to leave about an inch on each side. So I'm off in my batting. And now I'm going to type in my measurements here. So I want 101, enter by 108. That's the size. The quilt is 100 by 100, and I'm just giving it a little extra on the on the bottom so that I can crop off the bottom. So let me, oh no, I have another screen. Let me see if I can get that little house right there, refresh. No. Uh, so my Zoom is not letting me, um, let's see if I can pick this up just a little bit here. I cannot. I can't bring it into view because my taskbar is in the way. Let's see if I can, I can't get it out of the way here. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, let's see if I can do this. Scroll and let's pan. Maybe I can make it smaller and pan this. Okay, there's my area. All right, that works. Sorry. I have to figure out how to get all these bars out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to go to File, Design, Open, and I'm going to go to Pro Stitcher Designs, and I'm going to go to Continuous Line. Here is my Baptist fan. I'm going to select that and open it. So if you look at this, you can see up here that the width is 10 inches and the height is 8 inches. Now I have 19 inches of quilting space on my Forte, my Amara 24. So I'm going to get 2 rows in one pass. I don't want to change the size of this from 8 inches. Normally, I would go maybe 13, 14 inches and fill up my throat space, but I don't want to do that with this pattern. I love the way that this looks at 8 inches. So I'm just going to go to my repeat screen and I am going to say fill. And by the magic of the computer, it filled up my area. Now, I can go to wrap and I can fill in my sides and I can fill in my top and my bottom, but I would rather just overpopulate the area. So under horizontal, I'm going to add a couple more. And the reason I'm adding more, let me go back to where it was, is my start and stop are right almost on the inside of this pattern. So I want it to be on the outside. So I'm going to add more on the outside. There we go. And my vertical, I'm going to add a couple more there. Now, if I was to use stretch, it might not be 8 inches anymore. It would stretch that pattern out and it might be 8.5, 9. We never know what it's going to do unless we measure it. So I like to not use stretch when I'm doing an edge to edge. I will just set my size that I want myself by going modify, resize, and I can resize the pattern myself. Or I can just overpopulate the area and let it stay at the size that it came in at. Okay, so I'm in the repeat screen and I can see some lines here. I can see a gap between my patterns. So while I'm under vertical, I'm going to put my minus, my cursor on the minus. I'm going to zoom way in here and I'm going to hold down the minus and I'm going to close that gap between the patterns. And I like my spacing to be about what it is on the fans itself, maybe just a little bit closer. I don't want them sitting on top of each other. I don't like that, like that. I don't want that. I want that little bit of spacing in there, but that's personal preference. You can do it what you like. Okay, so now that I've got that, let's zoom back out. All I'm going to do is I'm going to go modify. I'm going to crop the outside because I want everything out of the way from the pink line from my area. And I'm going to close the edges, which I don't see any. That's a great thing. And then I'm going to baseline it. What that did was took 10 rows by 10 rows by 10 repeats and it put it into one pattern. So the machine doesn't have to think each time, okay, this row has 10 fans and it has 10 down and I got to get all that information again. It's just taking it and saying, okay, here's the one pattern and it's saved as one. All right, so now that I've got it baselined, I'm going to go into my file. I'm going to open. And at the very top of my list here, I put a new file folder called A, because A is the beginning of the alphabet, so it puts it at the top. Current. This is what I'm working on today. This is what I'm currently working on. So when I go into, let me cancel this for a second. When I go into File and Save the selected pattern, it's going to open up my dialog box and I'm going to go to my A current and I'm going to, where it says repeat Baptist fan, I'm going to say save. And it's going to save that pattern in that folder so I know where to get it when I come back if I have to turn it off today and I need to reopen it. Otherwise, it will be under File, Design, and this should say Repeat Baptist Fan. It'll always be the one on the top there. I hope that that helped you set up your area. It's not hard. It's just doing it all the time. I just like to overpopulate instead of using the stretch feature. Sometimes when I first started using Pro Stitcher and I used the stretch, I had patterns with circles. And what happens to a circle when you stretch it out? It becomes an oval. So I learned early on that I would rather crop away the extra than to stretch and make it fit exactly into my area. There are places where we do use the stretch. Sometimes I use it in my borders, but I will not use it when I do an edge to edge because I want the size that I choose to stay the size that I choose. So I will get this done today. If you want to see what this looks like when it's finished, hop on over to my Facebook page, The Last Stitch Machine Quilting. I think it has my name first, Harriet Carpenini, The Last Stitch Machine Quilting, and like my page. And I put all my customers' quilts on there as I finish them. I number them. So I think this one's going to be like 119 for the year. And that way I can go back and see what I did on a quilt and other people can see and get ideas. Hey, I like that Baptist fan on that traditional quilt. So yeah, hop on over there and like the page, The Last Stitch Machine Quilting. So if you have any questions about this, leave it in the chat, please. And hopefully I'll see you after the holiday. I'll come back and I'll be a little bit more consistent again. So have a very, very happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family and don't eat too much. Moderation, right? Okay, we'll see you soon. Take care. Let's see.